Hey, what's up you guys? It's Brooke. Welcome back to my channel, or to my channel if you're new here. I hope you guys stay. For today's video, as you guys can see, I am not in my normal spot, and that is because I am not having a normal day nor weekend due to the immense pain that I have been in, which we are going to get into. This weekend, I have had one of the worst weekends of my life. I mean, it's never a fun weekend spending your whole weekend in a hospital. So for today's video, I thought I would just give you guys an update about my life and tell you guys about this insane, horrifying thing that happened to me this weekend that led me to be in the emergency room for 2 days. So I guess we're just gonna jump right into this story time. And quickly before we start, make sure you guys subscribe. Help me hit 5K by the end of summer. I'm hoping that that can happen. I feel like I'm gaining subscribers quite frequently recently, so that's exciting. Make sure you guys share my videos with your friends and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I have a few announcements at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned and watch till the very end because I have a couple things I want to tell you guys about. And yeah, all right, let me stop talking and tell you guys about my terrible weekend. So this weekend was supposed to be a really fun weekend. I was really looking forward to this weekend as my whole family was coming over for our 4th of July, which normally our 4th of Julys at this house are just wild, and I was going to make a vlog of my 4th of July this year, but that just didn't happen because some things happened. But regardless, I was looking forward to this weekend and seeing my family, but of course that's not how things went for me. So let me just hop right in here. The day before the 4th of July, I think it was the day before the 4th of July, I woke up in extreme pain at like 7 in the morning or 9 in the morning, something like early. My stomach was killing me. Like, when I tell you killing me, I mean it was bad, like really bad, and I literally had no idea why. Like, I never really felt that type of pain before, but I kind of equated it for some reason to just being backed up or something. Like, I just didn't know what it was, so I just sat up in my bed a little bit and I just sat there for 2 hours, and then my mom came with some bagels and I walked around my house a little bit, sat down, and then as I started walking around my house a little bit, slowly the pain started to ease away and it kind of just disappeared. So in my head, I was just like, oh, I probably just ate something that upset my stomach, like, I don't know. But the weird part about it was I wasn't feeling nauseous, I wasn't feeling like I was gonna throw up, it was just pain. So the rest of the day, I feel completely fine. Like, I even forgot that that had happened. The next day, I feel fine. The next day, I feel fine. And up until Friday, I was feeling 100%. Then Friday came along. And Friday, all day, I was feeling great. I was working on music stuff. I was literally just living my best life. However, I was having cramps due to my period, so I took some Advil and that was kind of like going away. It's always like the first day is like the worst for me, but it wasn't that bad. Like, it was definitely, I mean, I was still moving around doing things, so it wasn't like inhibiting me from living my life. But then around 10 o'clock at night, while I was writing some music, all of a sudden my stomach started hurting a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean it started out very, very minute. Like, it really barely hurt. And then as I started walking around and sitting up a little bit more and stuff, it started slowly hurting more and more and more. Around 10:30, my boyfriend came over. I was hanging out with him. We were supposed to go to the beach to a bonfire, and I was like, you know what? I just really, my stomach's kind of hurting and I just don't want to go. And like, I'm sorry, like, I felt bad, but I just really didn't feel good. And he was like, well, you know what? Like, if you don't feel good, we'll just stay here or whatever. But I kind of felt really bad because I told my friend that I would go, and like, I wanted to see her and I wanted to hang out with him and like have a bonfire, like, it sounded fun, but my stomach was just kind of upset. And now, of course, he was probably thinking it was because of my period, but like, that had nothing to do with it. And I was trying not to really complain about it because I just thought like I had to go to the bathroom or something. But then slowly, as we started hanging out more and more, the pain started becoming really, really bad. I tried walking around a little bit because last time I had felt that pain, like a couple days before that, when I walked around a little bit, it like went away. So I started looking up online, like how to know if you're like backed up, what to do. I started like doing all the remedies for that. I started like touching my toes, laying on my back, like anything that could help I was doing because this pain was just getting worse and worse and worse. But none of the remedies that I was doing was helping. Like walking around wasn't helping, nothing was helping. And it started getting so bad that I literally couldn't stand up. Like I could barely walk around. I was walking around trying to push through it to see if it would like get better, but walking was like so hard. It hurt so bad. And I started getting a little scared because I'd never felt like a really bad pain like that before. So it was really, really bad. And then I was like talking to my sister and my boyfriend, and we were trying to figure out like what was wrong. They were trying to feed me laxatives because we thought that was the problem, but I was like, I really don't want to take anything. Like I really don't want to. I want to just see if it passes on its own. I'm not really someone who likes to jump to medication. And then as I was standing up and talking to them, it's like I would sit down and the pain would kind of like ease away a little bit but still be there, but then it would like come back with a vengeance, and it was just really, really bad. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna lay in my bed and I'm gonna try and go to sleep. Now this is where things took a turn for the worse. It was like 2 in the morning. I was watching Family Guy all night trying to like lay comfortably because I couldn't fall asleep. And then finally around 2, I decided to close my eyes. My boyfriend fell asleep. And when I closed my eyes, the weirdest thing happened. So I fell asleep. And I remember one time before this, years and years and years ago, I had a really bad ear infection. And when I had this ear infection, the infection was so bad that I started almost hallucinating in my sleep. I don't even know if you could call it hallucinating. I don't know what it is, but when I was trying to sleep, when I had this ear infection right before I fell asleep, I was watching The Sweet Life on Deck. And as I was sleeping, this episode of The Sweet Life on Deck just kept replaying and replaying and replaying in my head. And I kept waking up and trying to go back to sleep, and all that was in my head was The Sweet Life on Deck. Like I was The Sweet Life on Deck. And that had never happened to me since, until literally this night when I was laying in my bed and the last thing I watched was Family Guy, and all I could think about, all I could picture was Family Guy. I was trying to fall asleep and all I could think about was this episode of Family Guy just replaying in my head, and I was literally Stewie, and it was just so weird, and I was trying to think of other things, and all that was in my head was this Family Guy episode. So I finally fall asleep, but I'm still having this dream about Family Guy, and it wakes me up because it's just so annoying. And I get up to go to the bathroom, and I was like, I'm feeling actually fine. Like the pain kind of subsided. So I get up, I go pee, and then I come back, and all of a sudden, this shooting, sharp pain, even worse than before, comes at me, starts stabbing me in my stomach, and I'm like, all right, this is terrible. And I wake my boyfriend up. It's like 4:30, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go to the hospital. Like, this is really bad. This is like nothing I've ever felt before. When I tell you this pain was like unreal, it was the worst pain I'd ever felt. So I wake my dad up, and me, my boyfriend, and my dad head to the hospital. I get admitted into the emergency room. I put on those stupid hospital gowns. I'm laying in this bed. I'm freaking out. I'm in pain, and I'm just dying to know what is going on. Like, why am I in this much pain? And as I'm talking to the doctor, she was the sweetest person I've ever met. She kicked my boyfriend and my dad out of the room. She starts asking me some personal questions, lady questions, and then as she's talking to me, trying to figure out what's going on, she tells me that she just thinks that I'm backed up, which is what I thought. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And she says, but we're just gonna take a couple tests just to make sure and rule out everything else. So I'm like, perfect. So me, my dad, and my boyfriend are all just cracking jokes about me being backed up, and like they're asking me when the last time I went to the bathroom was, being so annoying, and I'm like, oh my god, like the last people I want to talk about this with is you two. Like, stop asking me questions, you're not my doctor. And so they take a urine sample, they took an x-ray of my stomach, and then they took a blood test, which is the part that I was dreading the most because I just don't really like needles. I don't think anybody likes needles, and also I just have this weird sensitivity thing. I just hate it. But they had to take blood and keep an IV in my arm. And as the nurse lady went to put the needle in my arm and take blood out, she had this really concerned look on her face, which obviously made me, my dad, and my boyfriend really concerned. She was like, oh, that blood came out a lot quicker than I was expecting. And she kept looking at the tube and looking at it, and she was like, this blood looks really thick. Like, she looked really skeptical about my blood, which was kind of freaking me out and freaking all of us out. So they took my blood and then they sent it to the lab to go get tested. And then they attached me to like some IV fluids with some drugs that they put in it to ease my pain because I was in a lot of pain. So as I'm sitting there, I'm finally feeling a lot better due to the pain medication that they gave me. And my IV fluid, I literally sucked that thing up so quickly. So finally, after waiting like 2 hours, my doctor comes back into my room and she says, all right, we did your lab workup. First of all, I want to say that your lab work looks beautiful. Everything looks beautiful, but you have a kidney infection. And me, my dad, and my boyfriend are all like, what? A kidney infection? What? Like, that sounded so terrifying. I don't even know. I've never had anything like that before. So I'm like, what? And she starts explaining to me that most kidney infections come from UTIs and that I probably had a UTI and that it traveled up my bladder into my kidney, giving me a kidney infection. And then she tells me that she has to take me for a CAT scan to make sure that I don't have a kidney stone. So I am freaking out. Let's just put it that way. I am literally freaking out to the most. And I'm like, how did I have a UTI and not know? I felt no symptoms. Normally when you have a UTI, a urinary tract infection, for those of you who don't know, it normally stings really bad when you pee. You'll have like cloudy pee. This is getting really gross, but you have symptoms of it. You have to pee a lot more often. And looking back on it, I do think that the only symptom I had was peeing more often, but the thing is, I wasn't peeing so often that it was like worrying me. I remember peeing more often, but I thought it was because I was drinking a lot more water, because recently I've been trying to drink more water because I don't drink enough water. So I just equated it to that. Like, I didn't think anything of it, but I didn't have any pain. I didn't have to I didn't feel like I had to go to the bathroom and then not go to the bathroom. Like, I had no symptoms of a UTI. I had UTIs before when I was younger. I had no symptoms of it, so I didn't have a clue. But then I started freaking out because she wanted to take me for a CAT scan, and I was really scared that I could have a kidney stone. Kidney stones, if you guys don't know, are some of the most painful things I have heard to ever have. My mom had a kidney stone once, and I remember she was like doubled over, throwing up, like screaming in pain, and my mom is never sick, never in pain, so I was extra scared to see if I had a kidney stone. I didn't want the pain to get worse. To make a long story short, they took me for my CAT scan, and then she told me that everything was good and I didn't have a kidney stone and that they could release me. They were going to put me on antibiotic and I was going to be a-okay. So I get home, I'm sleeping practically the whole day. It is now Saturday. I get home at like 7 in the morning. And I'm sleeping until like 12. I wake up, one of my turtles goes missing, which is just a story for another day. I'm just having the worst day possible. And then as I'm looking for my turtle, I'm walking around too much, so the pain comes back. Thankfully, after laying back down, it kind of went away. So I'm taking my medication, I took Advil, I'm doing everything I can to prevent this pain from coming back. And then I seem to be pretty good for the rest of Saturday. But then Sunday morning, I wake up at 9 a.m. with pain even worse than any of the days combined. Like, when I tell you my pain was easily like a 2 million on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm not exaggerating. It was so bad. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even breathe. Like, anytime I would like try and suck in or push out my stomach, I couldn't, because that's how bad it hurt. Like, I couldn't touch my stomach. I couldn't stand up straight. I kept trying to put heat packs on it. I kept trying to lay down comfortably. Nothing was helping. But I did not want to go back to the hospital. They told me that I should come back if I started throwing up, or if I started like peeing blood, or if like I started like having really, really, really bad pain. But I was just hoping that it would go away on its own. So I kept putting it off. My dad kept telling me I should go back. I kept being like, no, I'm fine. My boyfriend kept telling me I should go back. I was like, no. I was being super stubborn because I just hate hospitals and I just didn't want to go back. But then this time the pain was so bad that like by 2 o'clock I was like, you know what, we gotta go back. Because every time before this it was like waves. Like, it would be really, really bad and then kind of subside a little bit and then come really bad and then really subside a little bit. But this time it was like constant pain, like constant, non-stop, really bad pain. So I was like, you know what? By 2 p.m. I was like, I'm going to the hospital. I don't even know why I waited that long, but I did. and they admitted me pretty much right away. While I was in the waiting room, I was practically crying in pain. Like, that's how bad it was. I could barely sit, I could barely talk. It was so bad. And then once they sat me in a room, I laid back in the hospital bed, and all of a sudden, my pain just disappears. After hours of being in screaming, crying pain, it just disappears. I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course when I get here it disappears. Now I look like a liar. So I'm there until literally like 7 at night, I think, and they're just running tests on me. They took more blood and a lot more blood, and so I was just feeling really weak, really dizzy. I kept having to pee, and they were trying to make me stay to be observed overnight, but I didn't want to do that, so I had them release me. They told me that all my tests came back perfect. There were no more white cells in my blood, which is a good sign that the antibiotics were working and killing the infection in my kidney. And the doctor basically said, like, there's nothing wrong with me. And he said that he's gonna prescribe me this, like, medicine for, like, your gas or something, which I didn't feel like it had anything to do with. So I got really upset. I started crying because I was like, why can no one help me? And then finally, though, they gave me like an IV when I was there and pain medication, so the pain went away. So I was like, you know what, I just want to go home. And I went home, and thankfully the pain didn't come back and has yet to come back. So I am just taking it super easy. I don't feel 100% yet. Like, my stomach definitely does still feel a little bit weird, a little bit off, you know. I don't feel 100% me. And like, if I stand up or sometimes when I walk a little bit, it just feels like weird pressure, I guess, in my stomach. But thankfully there's no pain, and I really, really hope that there's not going to be any more pain. I am planning on laying in bed all day today and getting up as little as I possibly can, because anytime I would walk, that pain came back, so I'm just going to avoid walking today. But yeah, that was my weekend for you guys. As I was in the hospital, I was like, you know what, this is gonna be good content for my YouTube channel. Like, let me try and vlog in here. But like, I was in so much pain that like, I took like a 5-second video. I'll insert it if you guys want to see it, but I just couldn't. Like, I was in way too much pain. It was like really bad, and I looked like disgusting in this video anyway. But yeah, that was my weekend. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I'm sorry like that I suck, but this week I do have really awesome videos that I am planning on posting, hopefully, if this pain doesn't come back. So definitely stay tuned for that. This Friday is Friday the 13th, so y'all already know a scary video is coming out. And this is gonna be a really, really great video that I filmed like a year ago, but I had to delete the footage because it just didn't come out right. I'm gonna be taking you guys somewhere. I'm gonna stop talking, but I am really excited about it. Also, I am very, very excited to announce that I am having a show on July 15th at the Duplex Theater in New York City. I will link the information below. It starts at 3:30, so if you guys are in the New York area, definitely come through. It is on a Sunday. It'll be really cute and fun, and I would love to meet some of you guys if you are from the New York City area, so definitely come if you want. Tickets are $15. I'm also working on a medley for my other YouTube channel, my main channel, which this has kind of become my main channel, but I call my singing channel my main channel because that's where I started. So I'm working on that. I am planning on posting a cover this week and then my medley ASAP. I'm posting a lot more singing videos for you guys because obviously that's my first passion. Like, that's why I started this YouTube channel, to like get more people to like come to my other channel. And I love storytelling, I love writing music and any form of storytelling. So yeah, I'm gonna stop blabbing on and on because I want to go relax. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this storytime video, leave it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys share any of my videos with your friends and subscribe if you haven't already. Get your friends to subscribe. Help our family reach 5K by the end of summer. And yeah, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a very happy Monday.